who is going to be Manchester United's next signing. We are thinking it's going to be a midfielder, or could they wait for that third midfielder towards the end of the window? Going to discuss that. I have got a poll running straight away. Manu Koné, Carlos Baleba or Eduardo Camavinga. Get your votes in. I think they are currently the three most likely options that Manchester United will sign as our third midfield signing. I think Alex Scott is potentially ruled out now. And we've talked about it already, but I think with the news that's coming out from Fabrizio Romano and the news that's circling, that's becoming even more apparent. Are you happy about that? Are you gutted about that? Alex Scott is a talented player, but really we're looking at defensive profile now, which Koné, Baleba and Camavinga suit more. I don't think Camavinga is going to materialise, but I do want to talk about him because for me, it's clear and obvious who would be the best choice out of them three players, and I'll talk about that as well. Koné, he seems to be a bit of a fan favourite. He's currently winning the poll. I mean, it's only just got going, but he's currently winning. You've been voting by 58%. Baleba on 20, Camavinga on 21. I mean, Koné might have even gone up to 59%. I'm not too sure about that. I definitely like the player, but I don't think it should swing massively in that direction towards Koné. We will talk about it. I mean, Rio Ferdinand said that we've agreed a 45 million deal for Manu Koné. I've not heard anything about that, but if that comes true, then fair enough. But with Manu Koné, I think there's not complete unity behind the scenes of the recruitment team, whether that is the right profile, but there's definitely conversations been had and there's definitely people within the recruitment team that like him. And then the similar situation with Alex Scott. Let's see if Bournemouth are more open as we move throughout the summer. And then with Camavinga, he doesn't want to leave Real Madrid. And unless Real Madrid go to him and say, you are not part of the plans, that's not one that's going to move quickly either. So Camavinga might be a wait and see as well. So the only one you'd really need to move quickly on is Manu Koné because he has got other suitors and he's not going to wait around. Goldbridge was talking about that on the morning show. So Manu Koné, move quickly. If United want to assess a deal for Baleba, they might wait and test Brighton's resolve. If they want to go for Camavinga, they might wait and see if anything develops with Camavinga being more open to leaving Real Madrid. But the Camavinga one, he would be my pick, by the way, out of the lot. Camavinga would be my pick. He still was never my first choice, but what he can offer, he would be my pick. But I just don't see it happening because he's not open to leaving Real Madrid as of now. His wages will be the highest out of the lot, which I think could put Manchester United off. However, he is coming in as a shirt seller for Manchester United and he is still only 23. When I realised he was still only 23, my head was on the moon. Like, the potential he still has at that age is massive. He could be fantastic for United if they managed to get him over the line and could rise in value. You could really, get him at a point where his stocks are quite low and they could absolutely rise off the charts again. So Camavinga would be my pick out of them options that are running on the poll. But will United want to go for the more difficult one where it is going to be more expensive? He doesn't currently want to leave Real Madrid and his wages will be a bit higher. Whereas you've got Koné, who would love to join United. You've got Baleba, who would love to join United. Baleba, it's Brighton that is the issue with dealing with Brighton. And then with Manu Koné, that seems to be like, I think if United want to do the Manu Koné deal, they can do the Manu Koné deal. It's just a little bit uncertainty over whether they want to do that deal, and that is the question. So let me know whether you think Manu Koné is worth it. So let me bring in the stats that I have for you here. So I'm not going to go off goals or assists or anything like that. Let's start off with progressive carries. So progressive carries, the winner is Manu Koné with 4.7. Then you have Carlos Baleba with 4, and then you have Camavinga with 3.4. This is based off last season. So it is based off Baleba's poor season and the fact Camavinga didn't play too much. He only had 29 appearances because of his injury that he sustained with Real Madrid, 17 full 90s. So you're probably not getting the full picture of Camavinga, but I wanted to be recent. I wanted to be fair with it. So Koné, the best at progressive carries, then Baleba, then Camavinga based off last season. Progressive passes, 5.3 for Koné, 4.2 for Baleba, and 6.3 for Camavinga. So Camavinga wins when progressively passing the ball, then Koné in second, Baleba in third. Successful take-ons, all very similar. Koné wins at 2.6, but Baleba and Camavinga are on 2.3 and 2.2, so all very similar. Pass completion, all very similar as well. Koné on 87%, Baleba on 89%, and Camavinga on 89%. Tackles per 90, 3.9 for Carlos Baleba, who wins that battle between the three. Actually, sorry, he draws. No, he doesn't draw. I'm getting confused with my stats. It was going so well. Tackles per 90, 3.9 for Baleba, 2.2 for Camavinga and 3.3 for Manu Koné. So, again, quite similar, but Carlos Baleba winning that one. Interceptions per 90. Baleba wins with 1.9, 1.8 for Manu Koné and 0.9 for Camavinga. What I will point out right now is that Baleba's playing for Brighton, Koné's playing for Roma and Camavinga's playing for Real Madrid. So the way these teams play and how dominant they are throughout games does have a little bit of a say on these stats. Like Camavinga isn't going to be needed to make as many recoveries, as many interceptions, as many tackles because Real Madrid are dominating most teams in La Liga. So it's a little bit different that way, but that is where we're at on interceptions. Ball recoveries, 8.8 for Koné, 9.7 for Baleba and 8 for Camavinga. So Baleba wins ball recoveries there. Blocks, again, Baleba wins, 1.7, 1.4 for Manu Koné and 1 for Camavinga. Aerial duels 1, Baleba wins again with 1.9, Koné with 1 and Camavinga with 0.9, and then fouls 1 per 90, Koné with 2.8, Baleba with 2.4 and Camavinga with 1.8. And this is based off a season where Baleba didn't really do too well. The stats are all very similar. And I'm not saying Baleba is massively far ahead, but he does win the stat race between Koné and Camavinga if you put it that way. However, if you watch them on the eye, Baleba would probably, come in last place based off last season. What I will say is as much as Manchester United need a destroyer, we need someone who can cover that ground, can eat that ground up and, can be that physical duel-winning monster in the middle of the park. They also need to be decent on the ball. When I watched Baleba last season, he was far too slow on the ball. I'm going to be honest, when I watch Manu Koné, there's a lot to like about him. On the ball, he's not super pleasing on the eye. Camavinga on the ball, based off the games I've watched, tell me differently in the comments, is probably the best. And you need to be able to do everything. Camavinga is also super versatile as well. I mean, he can play left back, can play right back, he can play in midfield. He's very, very versatile. He's 23. He's probably got the highest ceiling out of the lot. But what I'm trying to say with these three players, there's a lot to like about each of them. And although I have consistently said Baleba is a risk, if we do get him, I don't think it's the end of the world like some United fans are acting like it is. There is a player in there that United need. There is a profile in there that United need. It's just whether he can do it on the big stage at Manchester United. And there's a lot of red flags that have shown last season that he can't. But there is a possibility that he can.
Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, as always, keeping you updated on the market, giving you all the very latest. And so we jump into it together, and we start guys with here we go. Aston Villa today have signed Joao Gomes. The deal is done, 40 million euros plus 5 in advance. The player already traveled for a medical test and contract signing, and so Joao Gomes, I told you guys there were many rumors about Manchester United, but United were not interested in Joao Gomes. That's the reality, and Liverpool too. There were many rumors coming from Brazil, maybe to wake up other clubs, but the reality is that Liverpool were not looking at Joao Gomes as a target, and Man United too. Man United are looking at a different player. The club that wanted Joao Gomes was Atletico Madrid, but the deal with Atletico collapsed in June, and now Aston Villa signed Joao Gomes and maintain talks active also for Joao Palhinha. Guys, on this and much more, we will keep you updated as always here on the channel, so remember to subscribe, to be part of the family, to send in your comments on all these stories. More to say in the next videos. We're gonna be busy for sure as always, and so see you soon. Thank you.